All right, this is Steve. I'm here with my friend Don, and we're going to talk to you today a little bit about the importance of nutrition. Specifically, Don is my friend. We've known each other for 20 years now. Don manufactures these Myo2 meds. They're just a solid nutrition source for minerals, electrolytes, things like that. I have used them myself. I've got clients who've used them, seen some miraculous turnarounds in health, and so I just wanted to talk with Don today about the benefits of taking these minerals and why they're so important and why they can assist able-bodied and people who are not able-bodied in improving the quality of their health and their life. So, Don, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
It's an honor.
Let's talk first about the relationship with good nutrition and Parkinson's, since I deal with a lot of the folks with the Parkinson's issues.
Absolutely.
Why, in your opinion, are the minerals just a natural selection for improved health?
Sure. Well, thanks a lot for this time. It's great to see you. And got to play up some way, somehow we get some barbecue going or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so what I've been doing healthcare now for 17 years. And over the 17 years, we've dealt with Parkinson's, we've dealt with Lou Gehrig's, we've dealt with a lot of different things. And what we find is that with Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's, we're dealing with a failure to make good continuity, bridging the gap with the neurosynapse muscles. So we have the thought, we know what we want to do, we're not having a good synapse. And so what minerals can do, and nutrient minerals, they're the essential nutrient minerals, is they can literally provide that continuity across the blood-brain barrier. Blood, plasma, and interstitial fluid should all have an electrolyte content that will provide for even continuity immediately. And I'm an old mechanic. I love working on cars. Well, I like working on them if I want to,
right.
Not because I have to. But you know, when you have a battery and it's got all that crusty stuff on the terminal, it's not going to make a good synapse. So you're going to have a poor continuity when you go to ignite. The same thing's going on with the body, is that you can have oxidation, so to speak, or the inability to provide good viscosity in the blood, and then you're going to send the signal from a very good brain, but it doesn't actually get to the parts. So you'll have trembling or shaking and such. We tie it together with soft tissue manipulation. I pioneered myokinics, which is a technique that we're taking an integrative soft tissue manipulation. We do deep Swedish or Western massage, myofascial elongation, trigger point therapy, and ischemic compression. So we began to implement needles, much like an acupuncture, but we actually are targeting muscles, not some kind of imaginary energetic thing. And it's real effective. It can not only
I can testify to that, it's real effective.
It will short circuit the motor end plate zone so that it stops the incessant contraction of a muscle, which leads to knots, which then leads to weakness within the muscle. But it can also help to purge that muscle tissue of lactic acid, uric acid, nitric acid, if we have the minerals present in the blood. So these are the wheelbarrows, the sanitation workers, which I was a sanitation engineer 26 years ago. And I picked up your garbage and took it away from your house. And so the electrolytes do exactly that. They travel through the body, through the blood, plasma, and interstitial fluid, pulling away those things. But most importantly, like magnesium, you know, as a rabbi, I teach about the gematria a little bit, and the importance of numbers and what they mean. But like the number 12 means government. And magnesium is the number 12 mineral on the periodic table of elements, which just blew me away. I didn't know that. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. And then I find out that magnesium, of course, is responsible for well over 320 enzymatic functions to produce myelin sheath for your nerve system, the cerebral spinal fluid. These things are all produced, but they cannot be produced unless we have the building materials.
Right, you gotta have the building blocks.
That's kind of how it all fits together. There's a lot of detail to it, but just kind of in a short synoptic thing, you know, that's how I can talk about it. I love seeing what God can do if we just provide the principles. Bring me some building materials, I'll build you a house. I really believe that we are the temple of the living God, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, but like many houses, we need maintenance.
Yeah.
And you can patch all the cracks in the walls, but if we don't fix the foundation first, you're going to be back there next year patching walls. And that's one of the things I tell people. Let's build your foundation first with the Myo2 meds and the Formula 513. That's a really good, solid it hasn't come up short yet.
Right.
And that's rebuilding the foundation, and then we can spackle the walls. Everything else just falls into place. I worked with a guy, Jesse Hernandez, who left his cane here at the clinic after I worked on him. And I'm back in my room fixing the room up, and I go, I wonder whose cane that? Wait a minute, that's Jesse. So I called Jesse up and said, hey, did you lose something? He goes, no, why? I said, you forgot something here? And he goes, what? So he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his cane, you know? And that was beautiful. And I said, I got your cane here. He goes, and he, in a Spanish expletive way, you know, he's like, Allah, and you can finish the sentence, you know, but
right.
He was like, man, I'll come back again. And I said, no, I'll bring it to you. It's all right. You don't have to come back up. But, you know, these are things that we need to come alongside people, show them, hey, listen, there really is healing virtue in you. This just unlocks it. These are the keys that help to unlock it. There's still principles. You're doing fantastic with the Rocksteady boxing. You got to let this stuff out. You got to, you know, get the circulation going. Use up the adrenal fatigue that may be there, which I believe a lot of it's adrenal fatigue. Jesse's came after losing a job. He was a janitor custodian at a school. He loved his job. He loved interacting with the students, and he lost his job. And I believe that it really just put him into an adrenal fatigue, not knowing what to do next. And then it led to a slowly, you know, degradation. And I honestly believe that the pharmaceutical drugs that were being used to treat this, it was just a practice. They were just practicing on him. I think they did a lot of harm.
Right.
So I also do panels on pharmaceutical drugs too. And I like to show people all of the different side effects that will lead to hypomagnesemia, hypokalemia, hypercalcemia, which if you have hypercalcemia, there's always hypomagnesemia present.
Right.
And when your blood serum levels of calcium skyrocket, you're going to be slow to function. It'll almost seem as though you're intoxicated.
You calcify.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And that can also prohibit proper response. If I want to reach down and grab that phone, I can't. I'm thinking, okay, here I go. Any day now, you know, and finally we go. And that's literally where everything's slowing down because of a hypercalcemic state. So that's some of that stuff.
You know, I've got a friend up in New Jersey who is he manufactures minerals to feed to deer because he knows how important the minerals are to the deer. So in my view, if they're that important for animals, you know, we should be taking them as well because of just the importance of functioning of the body, you know, and
bones.
One of the reasons that I advocate eating, like I tell people, eat food like God made it, is so that you get the correct minerals, the vitamin content, the fiber, that kind of stuff. Yeah. You put good stuff in, you get good stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if I can figure this out.
I know. You know, they say even a donkey is smarter than a human being.
Right.
You know, the donkey will go, we have a product that's called Equine Elites. And it's a product that we have manufactured in Israel, and it provides horses and donkeys, like me, minerals. But we have a gentleman here in town, BJ Germer, and he's got horses, $25,000 barrel racing horse. And we have two Rubbermaid 55-gallon troughs, one with minerals and one without. They always drink the one with minerals. They want the minerals. They can smell it. They taste
know it.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of times we don't realize that we've been sold a bill of goods with reverse osmosis water. So many of us are actually trained to dislike water that has any kind of a substance to it.
Right.
So we're used to this emptiness. And you know, as a rabbi, I always think about the 29-minute message at church. It's an empty message. It's not enough. Right. We need more than that, you know. But if I'm going to drink water with no substance to it, I'm going to go back and I will be buying minerals, but I'm going to be buying the minerals from Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, HEB, whatever your pharmacy of choice is. You're going to buy your minerals, and you'll pay a lot more than you'll pay for the med solutions, you know. And in the long run, they don't have a very good track record.
Well, I tell people all the time that, you know, drinking bottled water or that filtered water, in my mind, with just nothing in it, is like it's the white bread of water. There's nothing in it. It's nutritionless water. So
absolutely.
You have to have the mineral. You got to get them from somewhere. And you know, the Myo2 meds, the formula 513 just works. I had a client whose son was having a hard time. He had passed out playing football, and so I convinced her that she needed to purchase some of these minerals for her son. She did so, and a week later she told me he's a changed kid.
Wow.
She said he can concentrate now. He sleeps at night. You know, he's got focus.
Yeah.
It not only did it help him in his football practice, but it got so much more out of it.
Absolutely.
That is giving the body what it needs.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, even horses and dogs, they'll be like really edgy.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs that chase their tail incessantly, they not only need a task, but they also need nutrition.
Yeah.
That's on my heart's for dog. I'm a dog lover, love dogs. I've got a product for the cats too. We have a 13-year-old cat here in town that was on her deathbed, and I said, listen, just take this, let me know if it works. And he called me the next day, and he was like, what's in this stuff? She's drinking and eating water, you know, drinking water, eating food now, and she's better. I said, look, she needs her electrolytes. She had a kidney infection, and the kidney infection is from the lack of electrolyte minerals. Your kidneys cannot function without electrolyte minerals, which is why we have 2 kidney dialysis clinics that were just built in this town. Of we got less than 13,000 people living here, and we just had 2 brand new kidney clinics.
Yeah.
Because the pharmaceuticals are literally robbing minerals from us and throwing us out.
Leaching minerals from your body.
Dogs, the canine dogs for police, they're in a car most all day long with the air conditioning dehydrating their body, and they're panting, because that's their methodology of sweating. So they're breathing in dry air. They end up, the average canine dog is being put down at 4 years of age, 5 years of age max, because of what they call a congenital kidney disease. And it's not. They're living in like a dehydration machine.
Right.
And you think you're doing your dog a good thing, you go buy them a nice fresh bottle of water, which has no minerals in it.
Yeah.
And so they end up with hip dysplasia, desiccation of the cartilage, which we're dealing with the same things in human beings, which is the pandemic we see with the L4, L5S1 slip, the herniation of the disc, degenerative disc disease, spondylolisthesis, spondylolysis, you know, all of these, I call them the spondylala tongue twisters. And it's really a hydration issue.
Right.
It's crazy, you know. And then you can see in training, you know, you get people that are obese.
Yeah.
And yet their discs are degenerating, or their cartilage has,
Right.
and it's not that the cartilage is gone, it's just desiccated.
Yeah.
And they may have 2, you know, maybe 10 gallons of water on their body that they need to get to the right places and then eliminate the excess. So it's not really a water issue, it's a mineral.
And that's one of the difficulties that I find in dealing with a lot of folks, is trying to explain to them that dehydration is really not a matter of lack of water volume, it's a lack of minerals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems with drinking too much water is hyponatremia. When people deplete their sodium levels and they die.
Right.
It's not the fact that they've got too much water, they've got too few minerals.
Right.
So, you know,
hyponatremia is a great word, because when you,
I hate it.
It's almost as good as salsa, you know. Remember the Seinfeld episode, right? Salsa. But hyponatremia, it implies sodium absence. It's not just sodium absence.
Right.
It's mineral absence.
Mineral.
So if I say salt, you see the little girl with the raincoat and the umbrella, right? But that's a salt. Sodium is a salt. Salt is not sodium.
Right.
So you have magnesium, which is a salt, chloride, which is a salt, you know, potassium is a salt. Hyponatremia, it literally says they lost all their sodium. It's not necessarily the case. They lost more than sodium first, and we need to get all of the minerals back in. You can also get hypernatremia.
Yeah.
A young man last year died in Colorado. He was from Kansas, somewhere in Kansas. High school football, gets the winning touchdown, and then runs over to the sidelines and collapses in the head football coach's arms and lost consciousness. And they ended up having to unplug him 3 days later because there was no brain activity. It turns out he had hypernatremia. So he died of encephalitis because of the nation's leading, quote, sports drink, which has nothing but sodium and sugar in it. And he was taking salt pills. I'm only presuming he had to, because we always used to have those big old fucking, man, every one of us guys, we grab, and we, you know, we probably kept them in our mouth for 10 seconds and then spit them out. But if you have too much sodium, you'll get encephalitis, you have water retention, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which a young man here at Texas State University in San Marcos recently died February. He went home after, you know, he'd been dealing with problems. He went home and he died of hyponatremia. He actually didn't have enough. I'm trying to talk with his mom right now. She actually contacted me, and we're going to speak. My passion is really for the health of God's people.
Right.
Young, old, doesn't matter. We need to bring back this wisdom. And this actually goes back to the Bible.
Sure.
This is called the Brit Melachim. This is a covenant of salt, the salt covenant. It goes back beyond Abraham. And it's one of the reasons why today people get a salary, and the root word for salary is salt.
Salt, right.
You know,
Right. You trade salt.
you did, because money wouldn't heal your kids.
Right.
But the salts that they had would. You know, in the Jewish community, we take the challah bread, you know, and every good Jew loves challah with a lot of butter. It just makes it kosher, you know. But you take that challah bread with a little butter and you dipped it in your salt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the little girl with the umbrella. It was, this is your medicine.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to regulate your blood viscosity. It's going to keep you from having hypertension.
Right.
And it just like, wow, how did we become so blind?
Well, we get sold a bill of goods.
Yeah.
We get sold that the white bread of water is
Yeah,
the way to
white
go.
bread, yeah.
You know? So, gonna wrap this up here. And bottom line is, you need to get your minerals into you. It's just life. It's health. It's fitness. So you see the Don's contact information here. You'll have my contact information there as well. Get a hold of one of us, and we'll make sure that you get these minerals. If you got any questions, feel free to call Don. His number's on the screen as well. Very knowledgeable, wonderful guy. I love him like a brother, and I want to thank you for listening.
Thanks a bunch. Thank you.